Hello everyone, and welcome to the next episode of The Christian Experience, where we talk about the Christian experience and how it is uncomfortably like that of the abuse victim or the child of the emotionally immature parent. Today we're talking about envy, and I am reading from Nina Brown's Children of the Self-Absorbed, page 7. Envious. This person displays envy when she says and does things that reflect resentment of others' success, accomplishments, possessions, or opportunities, and feels that she is more deserving. Feelings of envy can trigger the impoverished self. For reference, remember that the impoverished self includes constantly decrying how she is deprived, left out, and minimized even when there is no evidence to support this perspective. Now, if we want to talk about the jealousy of the Christian God, we could definitely talk about the Tower of Babel or the incident of the golden calf. And we will. But first, I would like to quote the character of God in the Old Testament in the Ten Commandments. Exodus 20, verse 5. You shall not bow down to them being idols, or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. So let's just unpack that a little. Beyond saying explicitly that God is jealous, this passage also describes the Christian God as being so envious of people's attention being on anything else that he is willing to punish the innocent children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren of people who don't pay him enough attention. That's not an emotionally stable response to being ignored. And this isn't surprising. Let's take a quick look at the story of the golden calf, which surrounds or is embedded in the story of the Ten Commandments and how they are delivered to the nation of Israel in the account of Exodus. So in Exodus 32, the Israelites, having not seen Moses for a while, decide to make a golden calf and worship it. And I've mentioned this passage before, but the response of the character of the Christian God in Exodus 32 to people paying attention to anyone but him is, verse 10, now leave me alone so that my anger may burn against them and that I may destroy them. Now the character of Moses then intercedes and they have a little tete-a-tete, and in the end, the great mercy that Moses manages to acquire is that in verse 27, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel says, each man strap a sword to his side, go back and forth throughout the camp from one end to the other, each killing his brother and friend and neighbor. Now, while the God of the Old Testament also rails against other gods, the gods Baal and Asherah constantly show up in 1st and 2nd Kings, for example, as gods which the God of Israel is insanely jealous of. But it's not just gods, it's also people. In Genesis 11, verse 6, the Lord said, if as one people, speaking the same language, they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. The God of the Old Testament, the Christian God, the God that Christians worship, is jealous of the accomplishment of humans. And the response in verse 8, the Lord scattered them from there all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. The Christian God cannot accept other human beings even accomplishing great things. Now, one of the Christian responses, the most frequent Christian response that I have personally heard, is that envy that a human might have is different than the envy that God has because God is perfect and totally good, and therefore he deserves all the attention, and not paying God that attention is actually therefore morally wrong. To which I think we can reasonably respond that a sane and normal response to envy would not include destroying civilizations in response to their having success. I hope you found this video useful. If you like it, hit like and subscribe, and please be kind to one another.